The WNBA season may not start for another 4 months or so, but you don't have to wait that long to see Fever superstar Caitlin Clark. She's joining the NBA broadcast, that is.
Caitlin Clark recently signed the most prestigious broadcasting contract in the history of women's basketball, joining Hall of Famers on NBC's Basketball Night in America. As their CBA discussions fall apart, the same WNBA veterans who spent 2 years attempting to destroy her are outside league headquarters brandishing inflatable rats and making irrational demands for salaries. There is no more ideal contrast between their disarray and her achievement. Is Caitlin demonstrating her dominance over the WNBA as a whole? Or do veterans have the right to ask the league she helped create for greater funding?
Caitlin will be with NBC's Sunday Night Basketball this weekend, February 1st. She'll be joining the crew as a special contributor during the pregame coverage when the Lakers play the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. And then she's going to do it again. She'll be back again March 29th, helping with the coverage of Knicks Thunder, that game in OKC. Again, you can watch it all right here on NBC.
The first current WNBA player to appear as a special contributor on NBC Sports Basketball Night in America is Caitlin Clark. Alongside host Maria Taylor, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Carmelo Anthony, she will be analyzing NBA games. She makes her Madison Square Garden debut on February 1st, prior to the Lakers vs. Knicks game, and she will make a follow-up appearance on March 29th against the Thunder Knicks. This is not a part-time job. The basketball equivalent of Sunday Night Football, this is NBC's premier basketball program. They also want Caitlin Clark to be involved.
NBC announced that Caitlin Clark will join their coverage for Sunday Night Basketball beginning this weekend for the Lakers versus the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. This is the WNBA superstar's debut as an NBA analyst, and NBC has absolutely been killing it. First, they had MJ, which, by the way, that deal was insane. He got paid $40 million, and I literally think he sat.
The timing couldn't be better. WNBA veterans are physically demonstrating outside league offices with inflatable rats, seeking irrational pay rises, while Caitlin is landing multi-million-dollar television deals and collaborating with basketball icons. This cannot be made up. These are the same players that, over the course of 2 years, complained that Caitlin was receiving too much attention, harassed her excessively during games, and grumbled that new fans were only interested in her. As they humiliate themselves with protest acts that make them appear like whiny kids, those players are now witnessing her surpass their entire league.
On for an hour. NBC knows how to find the cream of the crop talent, and I just loved what the executive producer for NBC Sports said. This is Sam Flood. He said there's no more iconic figure in basketball in the women's game right now, or the game in general. So we said,
Sam Flood, executive producer at NBC Sports, emphasized that Caitlin isn't just a top player in women's basketball. She's one of the most electrifying scorers in all of basketball. That distinction matters. NBC is treating her on the same level as NBA coverage because they recognize her appeal reaches far beyond the WNBA's niche audience. Sunday Night Basketball draws millions of viewers, while WNBA games often struggle to hit six figures. By putting Caitlin in front of mainstream sports fans who might never tune into a WNBA game, NBC is disrupting the status quo, and it unnerves the veterans who have long guarded women's basketball. Her broadcast pay likely surpasses what most WNBA players earn in an entire season. Consider this. Caitlin could make more from 2 pre-game shows than veteran players do over 40 games. This isn't NBC being generous. It's the market acknowledging her value. While some veterans push for raises through union negotiations or protests, Caitlin earns major opportunities through sheer talent and professionalism. She's growing her brand alongside Hall of Famers, not working against the league like jealous peers.
and it's just so crazy that it feels like every other sport will just come out and say what it is besides the WNBA. The NBA is not scared to acknowledge that there's no more iconic figure in basketball. Not just the women's game, but possibly the game in general than Caitlin Clark. But we would not hear that in the WNBA space. We wouldn't hear that from WNBA media. But the NBA media and the NBA and the league itself is not scared to say it. Like we've seen it when Caitlin does golf events. It just seems like every league but her own is not scared to say the truth.
NBC's move directly confronts the storyline veterans have been pushing over the last 2 seasons. These same players spent countless hours trying to downplay Caitlyn's influence, acting as if her popularity was fabricated, as if new fans didn't genuinely appreciate women's basketball, as if the spotlight she brought was somehow negative for the game. Now, she's breaking down NBA matchups alongside Carmelo, Vince, and Tracy, while the veterans linger outside with inflatable rats. The visual contrast couldn't be starker. It's a win for Caitlyn and a blow to them. The Michael Jordan comparison is apt. NBC is approaching Caitlyn's addition like they did Jordan's, as a headline-grabbing acquisition meant to spark excitement and draw viewers. Jordan's role was minor, yet his presence alone generated enormous buzz. NBC believes Caitlyn will do the same. Only she'll actually deliver real insights and sharp analysis instead of mere appearances. Her basketball intelligence is elite, making the analyst role a natural fit. Meanwhile, the NBACBA negotiations have been a spectacular failure. The Players Association just staged one of the most humiliating negotiation showings in pro sports history. These same veterans who spent 2 years insisting Caitlyn had nothing to do with the league's revenue surge are now demanding huge pay increases based on that very growth. They're pushing for a $10.5 million team salary cap and $2.5 million top salaries for individual players. These figures are pure fantasy compared to the league's real finances. WNBA owners offered reasonable proposals that would benefit every player. They suggested giving players 70% of net revenue, with meaningful salary boosts across all experience levels. The current average pay hovers around $120,000. The league's offer included significant raises that would help veterans and rookies alike, with top salaries reportedly surpassing $1 million, more than 4 times today's maximum. Yet the Players Association rejected it all, demanding 30% of gross revenue instead. Think about that. They want their cut calculated before the league covers arenas, travel, marketing, and basic operating costs. They're asking for money that doesn't exist yet, money that's needed to actually run a professional sports league. This isn't negotiation. It's fantasy. And the players heading these negotiations, Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, are both vice presidents of the WNBA and co-owners of Unrivaled, a rival basketball league. You really can't make this up. Stewart and Collier are negotiating against WNBA interests while simultaneously building a business aimed at competing for the league's talent, sponsors, and fan base. Stewart even admitted her brain hurts from juggling these conflicting roles. Of course it does. She's trying to secure the best deal for WNBA players while also hoping the league struggles so her competing venture thrives. That's a textbook conflict of interest that would be illegal in most professional fields. Sophie Cunningham highlighted the issue on a podcast, calling out the obvious problem of union leaders owning a rival league, but no one seems willing to act. So Stewart and Collier keep leading negotiations that appear set up to fail rather than succeed. A strong CBA that raises salaries and improves conditions makes Unrivaled less appealing to potential recruits, while a failed negotiation that jeopardizes the 2026 season opens doors for their rival league to lure frustrated talent. They literally profit from the chaos they create. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark grows her brand through opportunities that support the expansion of women's basketball. Her NBC deal boosts the entire sport by introducing new audiences to basketball coverage. She collaborates with established media outlets instead of working against league interests. Clark shows how top athletes can increase their influence without undermining the system that supports other players. Her approach demonstrates real leadership, in stark contrast to the self-serving tactics of veteran union leaders. Those same veterans even brought giant inflatable rats to protest outside WNBA headquarters in New York City. Professional athletes making 6-figure salaries stood on sidewalks with massive rodents, holding signs and chanting slogans as if they were fighting for basic rights, rather than negotiating luxury pay raises. The difference between Caitlyn's professional approach and their childish stunts couldn't be clearer. And here's where the hypocrisy peaks. These are the very players who spent 2 seasons criticizing new fans. They complained about bandwagon supporters coming just to watch Caitlyn. They acted as if they were the guardians of the sport, policing casual viewers. They griped about people not honoring the WNBA's history and legacy. Now they're demanding enormous paychecks funded by the very fans they spent years dismissing and belittling. Social media is ablaze with people calling out this hypocrisy in real time. Comment sections overflow with supporters who remember how veteran players treated newcomers to the sport. They highlight the clear contradiction of criticizing casual fans, then asking for money those same fans helped generate. The backlash intensifies daily as negotiations drag on with little progress. People aren't blind. They see exactly what's happening. Some of the players' statements have been, to say the least, questionable. When a proposal includes a maximum salary exceeding $1 million and a significant revenue share, calling it insulting is absurd. Players need to be more careful with their messaging because public support is slipping. If anyone were offered a $1.2 million top salary and an average of $500,000, calling that a slap in the face would seem entitled and disconnected. Veteran players are intentionally slowing negotiations. They know fans are desperate to see the 2026 season happen. Caitlin is entering her second year ready to dominate after a record-breaking rookie season, and fans bought season tickets expecting to watch her continue making history. Instead, these self-interested veterans threatened to cancel the entire season unless they received unrealistic pay packages that could bankrupt multiple franchises. Their negotiation tactics reveal just how disconnected they've become. They stage publicity stunts and hold inflammatory press conferences rather than pursuing practical agreements. Social media is full of images showing them with protest signs, making demands that ignore basic business realities. They act as if the WNBA prints money, rather than operating as a business that must balance revenue against expenses. Their conduct embarrasses the league and makes women's basketball appear unprofessional.